Hello. 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 Good evening, everybody. Can you guys hear me and see my screen clearly? Hello. Hello. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Can you hear? Can you all hear me and see my screen clearly?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. You're welcome to this week's review with Great White FX for the 19th to let me see. Let me get my book. 19th to 23rd of September 2022. So I welcome everybody. Good evening. Good evening. So without taking too much of your time, let's get down to what we have. So next week, news-wise, it's going to be very, very interesting. So if you have background noise, let's keep our mics on mute, please. Thank you, everybody. So next week is going to be really interesting. Very, very interesting. We have FOMC on Wednesday. Then we have
Next week or this week?
This week. We are still on Saturday, Sunday now. It's still next week now. It's next week. That's the way I see it.
Do we start on Sunday?
This is the first day of the week.
First day of the week.
So come next week.
Okay. This coming week. This coming. Where are you people rushing to? Where are you people rushing to? Relax now. Now to the rush. Now I made the month finish. Next, this coming week is going to be interesting.
September month, you can't stop it.
We have FOMC on Wednesday. We have monetary policy for the yen. Then we have Swiss National Bank. This should not be taken lightly because this Swiss National Bank monetary policy has cost. There was a day, I can't remember that it was a black day in trading. It wrecked a lot of brokerage firms and so many accounts on that day. So it's not something you want to play with. It's on Wednesday. It's on Thursday by 8:30. You don't want to be around trading around. You just need to watch and see what happens. Then we have Euro news. So those with major rate news are the yen, Swiss francs, and the dollar. So it's going to be an interesting. So from Wednesday, the party is going to be very, very interesting. So without taking too much of your time, let's get down to what we have this coming week. So as always, we're going to start with the NASDAQ. That's like NASDAQ or US 100. This pair for now is still bearish. This pair is still bearish. This pair is still bearish. We can see we had a break here. And we already have one here. We already have one here. I think this has closed below here. So this pair is bearish. It's bearish. But if we look to the left, there is what looks like another block that price is dipping into. So we might see a bit of a retracement before it moves lower. So if we go to the 4-hour time frame, you can already see price is rallying to try and close up this gap. On the 4-hour, on the 4-hour, this is the dealing range from this high to this low. That's the dealing range on the 4-hour. But if you look at this on the 1-hour, there's already a shift in market structure here, or a break in market structure here. You won't see it. It's very, very clear on the 15 minutes. If we look at it on the 15 minutes, this high was used to sweep liquidity here. Let me zoom in. This high, that's this swing high, was used to sweep liquidity here. If you notice, price has closed above it. So we have a little bit of a retracement move. And its price has not yet filled this gap. It hasn't yet filled it. But if you now look at this pair on the if you now look at it on the 1 hour, you can see that you have a break in market structure here. True or false?
True.
You have a break in market structure. So which means that should this gap reject price and price starts to retrace, you'll be watching this zone here for an opportunity for a counter long. You get, because although he's bearish, but you already have a setup for retracement. If price doesn't take out this low here, that's this low at 111.7006. If this low is not taken out, there's a possibility that this will continue to rise. And if you put in your annotations, this is what you're going to have on your chart. I didn't put this, I've not put this in, but there's a fair value gap here on the 1 hour. So if this starts to retrace, you have this here first, then you have this here lower. So this pair is bearish, but short term, we might see a bullish run. So the next one we're going to be looking at is the dollar index. So looking at the dollar index, this pair for now is bullish. We have a break in market structure here. As you can see, price has closed above it, price has pulled back. Well, if we look at it on the 4 hour, the 4 hour is looking bullish and bearish at the same time. Although on the 4 hour, we have this here. We have this break in market structure here to the upside. So there's a possibility that price may try to pull back to close part of this imbalance. That will happen once this low is taken out. Once you see this low taken out, then you know that the move lower has already started. Because if you look at this, price didn't close above 1110. It didn't close above it. They kept rejecting there. So we can say this is a lower high. So there's a possibility this may retrace a bit to close this gap. If you look at this now on the 1 hour, you will see my reason for it now. You have a high, a low, a lower high. If this was to continue higher, price is not to take out this low. It has taken out this low and to an extent this here. This was the last down move before this up move. So price breaking it and rejection from here points to the fact that price may be coming for 109.28. And if it goes below there, then we'll be looking at price to try and fill this imbalance before continuing to the upside. So the next we are going to look at is EURUSD. This pair is still bearish. It's still bearish. Let me pull back this. I didn't show my annotations for this. So once you're done, this is what your annotations is going to look like for this pair. Let me go to the 4 hour time frame. It's easier there on the 4 hour time frame. So once you're done, this is what your annotations is going to look like on your 4 hour time frame. You have this gap here before this fair value point. So the next pair we're going to be looking at is the EURUSD. The EURUSD is still bearish. Long term is bearish, but we might see a little bit of a corrective run on the pair. So if we look at this from the daily point of view, we have what looks like a breaker here. Can you see it? We have this low, we have this high, then we have this lower low, and we have this. Can you see it? We have a bullish breaker here.
Yeah.
We have a bullish breaker here. Have a bullish breaker here. So there's a possibility, and you know the dollar index is has a mitigation. You get the dollar index has a mitigation. This one has a breaker. So there's a possibility this may correct towards this high or this high. Somebody is annotating on my chart. Somebody is annotating on my chart. So This is the scenario we have. So there's a possibility we are going to see a retracement. First, I'm sure of this high. This is where they will go to before any other level you get. So if we go down now to the 4-hour time frame, see it's looking like this on the 4-hour time frame. But if you go to the 1-hour time frame, it's clearer. You can see it's clearer on the 1-hour time frame. We have had a break above these highs. So most likely, if this should come down, then you'll be looking for this area to hold our support and price to move higher. So that's the storyline on this pair. So if you do your annotations, this is what you're going to have. And so you'll be waiting for a pullback as long as price does not go below 99.44. If it doesn't go below 99.44, there's a possibility to still move higher. Can you see the bullish mitigation? Can you see it?
Yes.
This is a bullish mitigation here. So if this comes down, it may come lower before going in for this high. So that's what you'll be watching for on the Euro USD. It's still bearish long term, but we might see a bullish correction. The next pair we're going to be looking at is the GBPUSD. This GBPUSD is bearish long term. But if you look at it, is not flowing with the Euro USD and the GBP and the dollar index. He has a lower low on his daily.
What is that, sir?
Huh? Hello, did somebody ask a question?
You say, why is it? Why is it not flowing?
They are hunting stops. They do it when they want to hunt stops.
Okay.
And Euro is stronger than the pound. So here, if you see, you have a higher high. The dollar index, you have a lower high. But if you look at the GBPUSD, the GBPUSD has this. So it tells you that the GBP is weaker than the Euro USD. So that means that you have a strong Euro. So if the dollar index starts to drop, which pair will be more beneficial to trade, GU or EU?
GU.
EU will be better. Euro didn't make a lower low. He didn't make a lower low. He's stronger. The pair that makes a lower low is weaker.
So that means you're going to buy EU, that Euro
EU
USD then.
over the GU. This will be difficult.
You can sell GU now and buy EU.
It will not be a good idea. That'd be a good idea. Don't sell this man. Just leave him alone. If you don't know what to do with GU, just leave it alone. Don't touch it. Okay. Because when he wants to move, he will spare nobody. That's one thing with it. So if we look at this pair now, let's go to the 4-hour time frame. Although he's correcting, seems to be correcting, but it's not like the Euro USD you get. His own is, there's a break in market structure here. Then he has done his own pullback. You see, he doesn't have a higher high, but the Euro has made his own. So this pair would, it would be better you just let this man be and concentrate on Euro. Because the Euro GBP is very bullish. So it's going to give anything GBP a tough time. So once that is done, you have your annotations. Your annotations are going to look something like this. I'm trying to keep my charts with less lipstick so that I can see things clearly. But if you notice on this pair, there is a bearish order blocking. Can you see it? So you need to be aware of this. There's a bearish order blocking. It's a bearish order block from here to here. So if this starts to rally, you need to be aware of this area. So the next pair we're going to be looking at is gold. Gold was wonderful last week. was truly wonderful.
Yeah.
Gold was truly wonderful. It has swept liquidity at this level. Everybody here has been knocked out. Everybody has been knocked out. So there is a possibility we might see a bit of a corrective move. There's a possibility because once you have a sweep of liquidity like this, it takes a lot for it to continue in that direction. It takes a lot to continue in that direction. And if you look at this again, this is the dealing range from this point to this point on the weekly. If you draw in your feet, you have something like this. You can see that price is at the 62%. Can you see it? Can you see it? Okay, let me hide all dreams. Oh, price is at the 62%. I'm trying to put it up, but the drawings I have on my chart is disturbing. Can you see it? Price is just slightly at the 62%. At the 62%. So for this pair, it's bearish long term, but you might see a bit of a correction because it has taken a lot of liquidity. So if you go down to the 4-hour time frame, you can already see a corrective bounce. I was with one of my friends on Friday. I remember very, very vividly. I remember this very vividly. We were looking at gold at this height. I told him that if he wants to buy this gold, he should wait for 1660. This was where I was telling him to get it. And you see what happened? Immediately gold came into this area. It took off. Now, why did I say that? There's a bearish order block here, true or false?
True.
Now, price has knocked it out. You have a break in market structure. You have a pullback. Price rallies above this high that took this out. This is confirming an up move. So any pullback that doesn't take out this high is going to be a very long move. And that's what we have here now. So looking at this gold, we already have a breaker on the 1 hour. It's evident on the 1 hour. We have a high, we have a low, we have this. So there's a possibility this may come down. If it comes down here and finds support, then you'll be looking at price coming to this area first. If you're looking at price coming to this area, then if it wants to go higher, but this pair is still bearish long term. So this bullish move you're going to see is a retracement, into this leg here. But once price goes above this high, then we might see a deeper corrective move, probably to any of these highs or any of these zones. But as long as price stays below here, what you're going to see is a corrective move to go lower. Are we on the same page?
Yes, sir.
So the next pair we're going to be looking at is EURGBP. EURGBP has woken up, and woken up heavily it has. If we look at this pair, we can see that all this has been taken out, and we have a break, a confirmed break in market structure on the weekly. There's a possibility you're going to see a pullback. There's a possibility you're going to see a pullback before a continuation to the upside. Because for now, it's within a bearish order block. You can see it easily on the daily. You won't see it on the weekly. It's easy on the daily to see. If you go to the left a bit, go to the left, you see it here. That's where price is here. So there's a possibility we might see a corrective move down. Should that happen, you'll be looking for long opportunities on this pair. That's what you'll be looking for. So if we go down to the 4-hour time frame, we have this other block here as a possible point of entry for a long position. If this fails, then you'll be looking at any of these fair value gaps. So long term, this pair is bullish. It has entered a bullish phase on the weekly. So any correction you see might be an opportunity to buy it. But it doesn't mean if you see a sell opportunity, you can't take it. If you see a sell opportunity, well, you know, a sell on EURGBP, what does it mean? If you see weakness on EURGBP, what does it mean?
That
That would be a buy
Yes.
in GEO. A
That
possible
means
buy GEO.
that not possible buy. That means GBP strength. Just take it like that, GBP strength. So what that means is that if you have a weak dollar index of Euro USD and GBP USD, which will be the best option for a long position?
GU.
GU. Euro is a better
Yeah.
option because you
Yeah.
have a strong euro.
Euro.
If this starts to show weakness, GBP will have strength. So any pair that has, so when you have GU and you have a weak dollar and you have a strong pound, the pound will be moving faster than the euro against the dollar. And so also across any other pair that is weak. You get, some people trade strength against weakness. So this is a variation of it. So if you must do that, for anything GBP and euro, you must look at the EURGBP. This is the main pointer. Then if you're trading something like AUD NZD, AUD, that's Aussie dollar against the AUD USD or NZD USD, you must look at AUD NZD, that cross, to tell you who is stronger. So in this situation, this pair is still showing strength. What will tell you that this pair is going to show weakness is when you have a break below 87.83. Once you have a break below 87.83, it will confirm the retracement for you, and then you might start seeing lower prices. So that's it for EURGBP. You might see a short-term bearish move on this pair, but this pair is still long-term bullish. The next pair we're going to be looking at is GBPCHF. This pair, one of my students was just using this pair to was just taking this pair like there's no tomorrow. This pair is bearish, very, very bearish long term. But you might see a little bit of a correction going into the new week. You might see a little bit of a correction going into the new week, because if you look at it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, it has been one-way direction. So there's a possibility, and it has taken out some very significant levels. This level has taken out this level. So there's a possibility we might see a retracement, most first to this level here. You're going to see a retracement to this level. If it gets rejected, then you might see a pullback before you move higher. So this pair, long term, is bearish, but the possibility that we might see a little bit of a corrective move is there. Probably first to this level here. We might see a corrective move here. So if this starts to retrace and gives you evidence, do we have evidence yet on the 1 hour? Not yet, not yet on the 1 hour. Once they take out this other block, then your breaker will be confirmed. That will be a low. Let me say a low, a high, lower low, and then a higher high. So once they take out this other block here to the upside, then you have your signal for a corrective move to the upside. Let me look at this on the 15 minutes. Well, the 15 minute has started, but it's not that deep. This was a significant swing high. They closed, retraced, and rallied up. So on the 15 minutes, the retracement is setting up, but it's not yet very visible on the 1 hour. This other block may still push price down, maybe into this area before it continues to the upside. So you wait and see. So, but for this, like I said, once they go above 1.1035, then you know that you're going to see probably price come up to this level. So for the yen pairs, I'm going to, instead of me to look at one particular pair, I'm going to use the yen basket, JPY basket. The JPY basket shows the pound, the yen strength against most other pairs. It shows you the overall bias of the yen pair. So if we look at this, we can see that this has been on the downside. It has been on the downside. We had this consolidation, then this expansion to the downside. If we look at it on the 4-hour, we can see that there's a corrective move in play. As you can see, there's a corrective move in play. So what does that mean? That going into this new week, there's a high possibility that we may see yen strength. You know, they have yen news on Thursday. So for this pair, it might retrace a bit before moving back up. You might see a little bit of a retracement before moving back up. And what would that show you on your yen pairs? If you look at GBP, GBP has a breaker. A high, a low, this. So this might retrace here. If it gets rejected, it's going to move lower. Can you see what I was talking about in GBP strength, GBP and Euro strength? Do you notice something between EURGBP and GBPJPY? Euro yen and pound yen. What do you notice? Hello, you guys still there? What do you notice?
Well, the pound yen dropping weaker. The pound is weaker than yeah.
There's something, when you look at the two of them,
Yeah.
there's something that will first come to your view. What do you see first when you look at both?
Okay, the pound is dropping against the euro, while against the Japanese yen, while euro appears to be consolidating upwards.
Let me put two of them side by side so that you guys can see it clearly.
The movements are the same direction.
They're not
This
quite
is
moving in the same direction.
euro. This is pound
Okay.
yen. 4-hour time frame. What do you see?
They are twins.
Look closer.
Same
I
direction.
think the weakness of
This dropped further
yes,
than this.
yes, that is it. I think that weakness is obvious here. The weakness
This
of the
dropped,
pound is weak.
this didn't drop that much. This dropped further. So when you have that at the back of your mind, you always know which currency to trade with. This will give you a lot of problem. It gave me a lot of problem last week. Gave me a lot of problem last week. But this was a smoother pair to trade. This has a breaker that is not yet clear. This has a clear breaker. So if this should retrace, he might not go too far before going back down. But if this should retrace with the continuous strength on the euro, this retracement will be very deep before moving lower. So I think that settles it for today. Do I have any questions? Any questions? Any questions? So the review will be posted on the YouTube channel. Your likes and shares are appreciated. It will go a long way. So do what, if you find it useful, like and share, and subscribe to the channel too. So I wish everybody a beautiful night's sleep and a blessed and favored week ahead. So good night,
Amen.
everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.